Hi, Hedgehog parents. This is Miss Harvey. Firstly, please accept our apologies. We didn't manage to get the Meet the Teacher presentations done yesterday. We had problems with broadband. So that's the reason why. So I'm presenting now, and it will be uploaded, and you can view it whenever you have a minute to do so. Okay. So I'm going to start by opening the PowerPoint just to go through the different slides that are relevant to us in our learning in the classroom. But we'll start obviously with the changes that we've just had to make due to COVID again. So if you just bear with me, I will open up the slide and we'll see what we've got. So if I open up the tab, hopefully you'll be able to see it. Okay. That's fine. So I have changed, I've updated the details based on yesterday's decision that has come from the authority. So if I go back to the beginning, I'm not on the beginning, I don't think there. Let me just have a look. No, that's it. Back to the beginning. So there you go. Welcome to Hedgehogs. So the daily routine, it worked wonderfully, didn't it, for a few days? And it was just so lovely to see the children playing together, mixing outside. Absolutely wonderful. However, we have got to go back into bubbles. We've been advised to do this by the authority. So as of this morning, we went back into our bubbles. It seems to have worked absolutely fine today. So I'll read out and just remind you of the details. So you're coming in at the Church Street entrance, and the children now are coming in for 9 o'clock, not sort of just before 5:29. Now, they should only be coming in early if they have a younger sibling, because we're timetabling each of the gates. And so if you come in too early, you'll be clashing with another bubble. So we do advise you not to bring in your child too early unless your child has a sibling that comes in earlier into school. Okay. So it's 9 o'clock through the gate at Church Street onto the playground, and then the child will come into the classroom door. They know which door to use by now, and the parents, for the parents, it's a one-way system around, so you go out at Linus Lane gate if that's okay. So at the end of the day, at 3:25 now, I will walk the whole class to the Church Street gate and let them go. And again, it'll always be making sure that the parent is picking them up before they are allowed to leave. Okay, at playtimes, they are now in their own bubbles. They are not mixing just at the moment. We are keeping windows open for ventilation, and we are going over all of the rules of hand sanitization in class. But just to reassure all the parents, playtime was wonderful today. They had a lovely playtime. They just got on with it. They were all having lots and lots of fun. So I am hoping that this sort of getting back into the bubbles thing is not going to be too much of a problem for any of our children. Touch wood, so far, as I say, it went really well today, and they seemed pretty happy. Okay. We don't know how long this is going to last. We have no idea at the moment, and we will be waiting to hear from the authority. So we're taking guidance from the authority. So as soon as we know anything that needs to be passed on to the parents, we will let you all know about any changes to the routine. Okay. Right, let's move on. So the timetable. So daily English, maths as per usual, and then whole class guided reading. We do spelling and handwriting. We try to do it as often as possible. It can't be done every day. There is too much to fit in, but we try and do spelling and handwriting. Handwriting once a week, but spelling at least 3 times a week if possible in their grey spelling books. Okay. PE, sorry, I'll go back actually on Tuesday rather. It's planning time for myself. And so Miss Bogue-Monroe takes the class for an RE lesson, and we also have multiflex on a Tuesday morning, but PE is also on Monday. So the 2 days that we need the children to come into school in their PE kits are Mondays and Tuesdays, and that rule is staying in place this year because we've actually found that it has saved so much teaching and learning time in class without the children having to get changed. That it's just been an absolute godsend. It's been fantastic. So they come in their PE kits Mondays and Tuesdays, and they're ready for the lesson already. Okay. Homework is set electronically, as you know, on a Friday. Now, if you can't get onto Google Classroom, do let me know. I've already had 1 or 2 parents coming to ask me. I can print homework out and I can get it sent home. But obviously at the moment, we're ideally trying not to have too much transmission between home and school. Okay. So just let me know if you have any problems. Also, if anyone has to be at home due to COVID, so either because you're awaiting a test result, or because yourself or anyone in the family has a positive test result, so a child in my class has to be at home, then I will be posting up, and have actually done so already, a programme of work. So the programme of work is in groups of 5-day slots, because I've just copied the programme from the planner from my weekly planners. And I've linked it very carefully to everything that we're doing in class this half term. So if for any reason your child has to be off, then log on to Google Classroom, and the timetable, if it's not there by 9 o'clock, because I at that point haven't found out that somebody's off, I will put it on as soon as possible in the morning. And you basically just start with day 1, get as much of that done, and then the next day is day 2, day 3, and so on. So there will be work put up for any child that is home for COVID reasons. Now, obviously, if your child is unwell, then I don't expect them to do any work. Okay, so this is only if your child is at home awaiting test results but is feeling absolutely fine, or your child is staying at home because somebody else in the family has a positive, but your child is okay. All right. So if you have any questions about that, just email Hedgehogs at Wincham CP, and I'll endeavour to answer your emails as quickly as possible. Okay. Right, let's move on. So PE, as I've said, Mondays, Tuesdays. I don't really need to go on to that, because that's about PE kits. So just to say the last sentence, this will also make them prepared for outdoor break and lunch times on these days as well. Make sure that they have something warm enough on these days for their play times as well. So a coat or something as we move on into the autumn and winter months. Okay. So, as we always do, there's lots of topic-based cross-curricular links. And what we mean by that is that we try and bring in as many links with different parts of the curriculum as we possibly can. So this year, our topic is the Romans, which is an amazing topic. Always is very exciting for the children. They do love the Romans topic. But what that means is, in English, we are looking at a fabulous book. I'll get it here, and if you can see it. Okay, fabulous book called Escape from Pompeii. And so our English lessons will be brought through the Escape from Pompeii book, and it will be learning the new Year 3 outcomes for writing, going over the Year 2 ones. Now, it's just to remind all the children and the parents that when we get to Year 3, we say that capital letters and full stops are non-negotiables. So the children are not allowed to forget them. Now, obviously, at the beginning of Year 3, they need a lot of prompting, but this is what we're moving towards. Okay. So our topic, what do the Romans do for us? We'll include as much English as we can. Maths is sometimes a little bit more difficult to find a link to, but where we can, we do. The science this term is all about rocks, which is perfect because it brings in volcanoes. We'll talk about Mount Vesuvius. So that's all linked, and that's where we have those curricular links. Okay. So as much linking as possible. We will hopefully do some kind of art that will link to Roman mosaics, something like that. So we'll link it all in as much as possible to make it as meaningful for the kids as we can. Okay. I think I've gone over that. So there's nothing more in that slide that I need to bring to your attention. So it's just another, recap of the curricular links between the different subjects. Again, writing continues. As we've said, we get support in the classroom, and so we've got a lovely situation this year with Mr. Clayton in quite a lot of the time, and I try and timetable the English and maths lessons as much as possible with his support so that we can provide the best possible foundations for writing and maths for your children. Every Friday there'll be a Writer of the Week certificate. Sometimes I can't decide and I end up giving two. So that's just the way it is. Sometimes I can't decide between them. But it's just a way of celebrating fantastic writing. We've already had some fantastic writing, and I think I've got, looking at the back wall, which is where I put all of the celebrations of their work, we've already got at least half of the children with a piece of writing on the wall. So it's fantastic. And I still have to, marking to do for today. So I'm sure there'll be some more going up tonight. Okay. Reading, right? Reading is, so when the child comes in the morning, they are expected to get their reading book and their diary out. This has to go home in the evenings in case they do any reading at home, and then updated, the diary as well, and signed by the parent if possible, and then brought back into school. Okay, we have quiet reading at 9 o'clock in the morning for about 15 minutes while I do the register and I do other admin things. Okay. We then have quiet reading at 1 o'clock when they come in from lunch for the same reasons. Okay. At the moment, the children are trying to and starting to settle into quiet reading, but they need a lot of training in terms of doing it quietly. Okay. So that's how reading works. Please encourage your child to read at least 4 times at home. Twice on book club if you possibly can. I have now got access to book club as of yesterday, so I'm slowly going through the book club levels, up leveling people, moving their levels, so that will be done in the next few days. Because we don't have groups anymore of readers, we hear individuals. It does take longer to hear everybody, so we aim to hear everybody at least every fortnight. I've got through most of the class now. I've still got about 6 or 7 that I need to hear reading. So please forgive me if it looks like I haven't heard your child yet. I will get through your child and hear them read as quickly as I possibly can. If I'm looking at the PowerPoint, we've also got guided reading and mentioned here. So guided reading, we are doing, again, a book about a child during the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in Pompeii. So everything is linked. And we tend to ask questions. It says here, it's based on vipers. So looking at vocabulary, inference, so using clues to come up with answers, predicting, explaining, why has the author used this word here, or why has a character behaved in this way, retrieval, finding a word that has the same meaning as, and then summarizing as well. Okay, so if you could encourage your child and ask some questions at home using vipers, that would be really helpful for us in class. Okay, so I think that's all we need to mention about reading, just to encourage them as much as possible to read, and that book club will be updated for those who haven't had an updated one as quickly as possible. I try to make sure that I put an input into the diary weekly for children. So on a Friday, I'll get the children to leave their diaries with me and I'll just check them. So please, if you can, as parents, sign the diaries and encourage your children. That would be fantastic. Okay. Spelling well, this is small writing text on this slide. So it's the year 3 and 4 national curriculum requirements. So the national requirements are based on lower key stage 2, but we split them into 3 and 4. So we're obviously using the year 3 outcomes this year. There is also a list of words that is crossed between 3 and 4. That is simply a list of words that are tricky, that don't necessarily fall into the patterns that we expect the children to be using correctly and spelling correctly by the end of year 4. So we have constant practice of these in class, but the children are not expected to use all of them correctly until the end of year 4. Okay. So I'm not going to read through all of this. I'll leave this for you to have a look at. But we practice, just to let you know, that we practice in terms of spelling patterns rather than giving a spelling list. So on a Friday, I don't give a spelling list necessarily for the children to look at. I will give a spelling pattern, maybe give a couple of examples, and the task might be to find 5 other examples of that spelling pattern and to use those in a really good sentence. And I might say, use in that sentence expanded noun phrases, which means that they're linking it to whatever we're learning about in class. So that would be spelling. That's how we work the spelling. There's no list. And there's no spelling test on a Friday. There's nothing like that. That's just the no nonsense spelling scheme that we use. Okay. So there you go, no nonsense spelling scheme, and that's the year 3 statutory spelling list, which is what I've already talked about. Okay. In the no nonsense spelling scheme, it talks about different fun ways that the kids can practice their spellings. So the next couple of slides show you different ways of these, and I model them in class. So today I've done a triangular one. Well, pyramid words is what we've done today, which you can see an image of at the bottom. So we model them in class so that the children know which ways that they can practice. The say, the look, say, cover and check is generally the one that for the children is not maybe quite so entertaining, but if it's done properly, it is one of the best ways to practice spelling. So looking at the word, looking at the shape, which is really important. I know that when I misspell something, it's because the shape doesn't look right. Say the word out loud, cover it up, and then write it down and see if you've got it right. So as I say, I know it's not the most entertaining for the children, but it is one of the ones that we need to encourage them to do as much as possible at home. Times tables, rock stars. I have been told today that the kids haven't got their logins yet. So I am on the case. I will get that to you as soon as possible. But times tables, rock stars, by the end of year 3, they're expected to know the 2, the 5, the 10, which they did in year 2. And along with that, multiplications of the 3, the 4, and the 8 times tables. Okay. They do not or are not expected to know the 6 times table in year 3. That comes in year 4 along with all the others. So for year 3, we are consolidating the 2, the 5, and the 10, and we are adding the 3, the 4, and the 8 times table. Now, it's really, really important that they practice at home as much as possible using things like times tables, rock stars. There are other sites that they can use as well, because theoretically, we are having, by the end of year 4, now a national assessment that has been set by the government on times tables. It should have started last year, but for obvious reasons didn't. So hopefully we'll get that sorted, or it will be put in place. And so by the end of year 4, the children will need to know all of the times tables. Homework, well, I'll leave that for you to look at. It's set on a Friday for the next Friday, and I'll do either maths or English along with times tables, spelling and reading, as we've been doing up until now. Homework can be posted on the Google homework, on the Hedgehogs homework drive, or you can take a photo of the work and upload it that way. If you don't have any of those facilities, then the child can bring in a piece of paper with their homework in. That's fine. We haven't given them any homework books this year because most of it is done online. Class dojos continue. I've set up table points because we are finally allowed to sit in groups again, which is lovely. So I've set up group points. I have set up a full class point for the end of the day if everyone stays on green for their behaviour, which so far everybody has been. Behaviour has been lovely so far. So yeah, lots of dojo points being uploaded, which is great to see. Okay, again, if you haven't got access, let me know. I have printed out 1 or 2 passwords for some parents. Most of the parents are on by now. I've had a look, but if you haven't got access, just let me know and I'll sort it out for you. Okay, there's details there, but I'll leave those for you if you do need to still log on. I'm not going to go through them with you. Okay. Now, I don't need to go through any of the pupil premium funding or any of that. So if that's something for your information, then obviously that's there for you. And again, homeschool communication. We've got all of these apps and things in place. So the School Spider application that helps you to pay for things. I also like to put up on the Google Classroom any notes for children. So it's always, if you can, every couple of days, just check Google Classroom and look at the stream on the front page of it. So, for example, tonight I've put up a wee note because I've got 3 or 4 cardigans left in the classroom, no names on. So I've just put a note up on the stream saying, make sure that you're not missing a cardigan. Let me know if you think it's yours. So I do put notes up on the Google Classroom stream. Okay, there's your useful websites with lots of different information and things that you can come up with to help you with your child. But again, if you want any more help, just let me know. Give the office a ring. If I'm in class and I can't speak to you, then I will give you a ring back later. That's obviously not a problem at all. So that's the presentation ended. I'm just going to go back to the screen and I am going to close the presentation if I can remember how to do so, and then get back to my full screen. Okay, so very little else. There's very little else that I need to let you know about. I don't think I've missed anything really important. I think, given what's happened yesterday, that the main thing is that the children are okay and that they're happy and that they're safe. And as I said, they had a lovely, lovely playtime today. They really played nicely together, which was lovely to see, in their bubble, so away from all the other classes. And they seemed to cope with that without any upset at all. So I was really, really quite delighted with all of them today. Yeah, so we'll just, in terms of getting out of this situation, as I said, we don't know when that will happen, and we'll be following instructions from the authority as we work through this. Okay, so that's all we need to talk about. That's all I need to let you know about. So if you have any queries, any questions, just send in an email to hedgehogs@wincham.cheshire.sch.uk. I try and answer as quickly as I can. So I do log on every morning. So I log on to my email and then I log on to Hedgehog's email automatically every morning. And depending on how many I have to deal with, I will try and answer them in the morning for you. If I can't respond myself, if I don't have the answer, I will pass it on to Mr. Boots or whoever else can respond for you. So please feel free to send me any emails that you want to. I'm looking forward to getting to know all of you. Actually, there's only 2 or 3 children in this class for whom I've taught siblings, so there's very few of you that I know. So hopefully I will get to know some of you a bit better over the next few months, depending on when and how we get out of our bubbles situation again. Okay. In the meantime, hope the information has been very, very helpful, and if there's anything else that you need to know, just send me an email or pass a note through your child. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.